Start, just tell me your name and your position, and then I'll start asking questions.
Okay, cool.
Okay, ready, go.
Hi, my name is Mike Cho. I'm one of the owners here at Komodo, which is located in Los Angeles, California.
Okay, so as part of Komodo, what would you say is their mission? What makes you unique?
Our mission is pretty much bringing, like when we first started off, our mission was to bring gourmet food to street level prices, and that's one of the general missions, but our ultimate mission is to bring the type of quality food that we make, like the diverse menu that we have in terms of like, our food is Pan-Asian fusion food. So what we like to do is build food that's built for everyone. You know, so if someone comes into our restaurant and they can at least choose one item before they leave without being disappointed and being like, oh, I can't eat here. Because there are a lot of restaurants where you go in and you know, you look at the menu, and in LA it has very specific people that can only eat certain things, and we're very conscious about that too. But at the same time, we want to bring a lot of flavor and color into what we do. And everyone knows tacos in LA, but in order to start a taco business in this city, you have to be unique as possible, and that's what we're going for.
Very cool. So why do you think LA is a growing hub for food trucks, and how have you witnessed this growth?
I think LA is a great place for food trucks because the diversity and culture that LA has. You know, I'm originally from the East Coast of America, in the United States of Maryland. So you know, it's very different. When I went back home the past New Year's, and when I went back home, it's been probably like a couple years since I've been back. I can tell it's so different, the cultural difference. You know, out here you have every type of ethnicity that you can think of. You know, like you have in different sections of LA too, because LA is like, it's not just concentrated in one area, it's like spread out. And then like if I want like you know, just like I don't know, if I want Mexican food, I'll go down this street. If I want El Salvadorian food, I'll go down the other street. If I want like Japanese or Taiwanese food or any Thai food, like in general, like wherever direction you go in LA, you can get any type of culture, like someone different type of ethnic. Sorry, I gotta start that.
It's okay, you're good. I can cut.
So basically in LA, you have every type of cuisine that you can imagine. And it's fortunate that LA is like this, because outside of LA, there's not a lot of places that you can get every type of cuisine, you know? So that's what makes it so unique, in my opinion. Yeah.
And food trucks kind of allow for it to spread to other pockets of LA, so it doesn't just stay in one part. Okay, so why is this farm to table movement sort of taking over LA and like sweeping over the city?
Well, I think this farm to table movement is sweeping the city because it's being that it's LA, it's more accessible in terms of farms and ranches. You know, it's like they're all closer, they're easy to distribute here, and that's just one aspect. That's like the business aspect of it. But when you actually look at the culture aspect of it, this is LA. Like people want to eat fresh food. You know, people want to look good too. You know, people are all about health. You know, so the fact that people are all about their health here, you know, farm to table just only makes sense to me. You know, people are always now conscious about.
Sorry.
I'm gonna start over.
That's okay. Yeah.
So people are more conscious about what goes in their bodies, and you know, so. This whole movement of non-GMO stuff, and you know, also like vegan, gluten-free, and all that stuff. Like when you have that specific type of wants and needs, it only makes sense that you do this. But you know, that's just in my opinion. It's just like this is LA. You know, and people are all about health. So in a nutshell, it makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
And then how do you think this movement has impacted the food truck industry in particular?
Okay, so now the food truck industry is interesting with this because like when you start a food truck business, you know, you want to, especially the gourmet food truck business, you want to make a big impact on, you know, like you want people to recognize who you are, what you represent, and what type of food you bring to the table. So if you see a food truck that says farm to table, it's very interesting because people are cultured. Okay, I'll wait.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. I think he's
And let
on
me know if like I'm running off.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Because I'm like thinking as like I'm trying to
Yeah.
bunch of things like.
No, that's
make sure
totally
that I say it
fine.
correctly.
Sorry. Okay, so then how has this movement impacted the food truck industry?
Okay, so this movement impacted the food truck industry because it's unique. Because like typically in the past you only see like traditional like Mexican food trucks, and usually like they have a nickname for them. They call them roach coaches. You know what I mean? And then when the gourmet trucks came out, and not saying that the Mexican trucks were like not good or not sanitary, it's just they weren't like as appealing to look at on the street. They looked like really street food carts, you know, and trucks, you know. But when these gourmet food trucks came out, they gave it a whole new personality, saying like, yes, we can make really good food on food trucks. It's not just limited to just Mexican food, you know. We can make like fresh ingredients, like you can go from Mediterranean food to like Italian food to like you know, even like Chinese cuisine or like any type of fusion you can think of, and that changed the idea of it. But then when farm to table came out, not all food trucks do it. There's only certain food trucks can do it because one, it is expensive to do, but at the same time, the ones that do it, they cater to a specific market as well, and those people love that because they're like, wow, I never imagined a food truck bring this type of quality food, you know. But that's what pretty much is changing the game for them. Yeah.
And in LA, people are looking for that quality, and they're looking for that. Yeah.
People are always looking for quality in LA, especially this city, because there's only certain cities in the United States where people are very picky on the quality of food. You know, that's why I feel like sometimes like when I go back home to eat, like. People are like, this is amazing, especially in the DC area.
Yeah.
I don't want to knock down any DC restaurants, but like I try some food and then I'll be like, oh, this is okay. And then some people I know will be like, this is amazing, but I'm like, and I realize I'm from like since I've been in LA so long, I'm in this bubble and there's such great food out here that everything outside of LA is not as like it's not as good, you know. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's not good to anyone else. But I'm just saying for my quality of taste buds, like. It changed. Ever since I moved here, a lot of things changed for my palate,
And all the places you've been?
Yeah.
Okay, and then how would you say food trucks are able to compete with restaurants?
Okay, so the way that food trucks compete with restaurants is that, number one, they're mobile. You know, so like on a slow day on a restaurant, like, you know, a brick and mortar is just in one spot. You can't move the restaurant, you know, but with the truck, they can be diverse and like, hey, we can go to any location and keep it consistent with the amount of business they do. The only downside of it is obviously they can't push as much food as a restaurant. So that's the only thing. But gourmet trucks are just very competitive because they're really mobile, they're more accessible, they can diversify in catering, sorry about that.
It's okay.
So mobile food trucks can diversify in catering as well, you know, and that's a huge thing too. Not saying restaurants do it too, but there's this new trend going on where a lot of the gourmet food trucks are just doing catering now. So I've noticed that even ourselves, we do weddings. So like recently, like my weddings have like tripled in the amount that we're getting bookings for now.
Interesting. I wonder why that is.
It's more because like these days, right now, weddings are not as traditional anymore. You know, they're more like the younger generation is getting older, and they don't do the norm as.
It's a little more casual.
It's more. It's like it's a little more casual. They don't want like, and a lot of times the number one thing they tell me is they're bored of the food. Like every wedding you go to is the same type of food, chicken or steak. You get a side of green beans or something like whatever, you know, and then. But what they like to do is, and there's two things to it. One is a little more affordable. The food trucks can be a little bit more affordable. And then number two is it gives them the whole experience. Like for ourselves, for a wedding, what we do is we go to the location, the venue, and they come up to the truck.
Oh.
So like the table, like a couple tables at a time will come up to the truck, and then we do like an all-you-can-eat thing.
Oh, very cool.
So what's cool about it is people from out of the state, they have family members that come out that never experienced a food truck in their life. They experience that. And then the food becomes a little bit more memorable. And the affordability compared to like a full-blown catering is great too. And then these couples, like I noticed they're usually around the mid-20s now that are doing this. So, but it's amazing because every experience that we have at the weddings is people leave with something, and then somehow we get more business out of it as well. So it works both ways.
Okay, pretty cool. So why is it important to Komodo that you use 100% grass-fed beef and then seasonal and local produce?
It's really important, especially meat, because we're all about protein here too. We do have something for the vegans and vegetarians, but in terms of proteins, like the meat that we use like a top sirloin steak, and we use like tail fillet stuff too. But it's important to us because we use a company called Rocket Brothers, and we love them because it's a privately family-owned business that has been around for ages. You know, so. Their quality meat, we try to, everyone's meat, like all the vendors, and theirs is spot on because the way they take care of the animals, the way the animals treated, the way the animals butchered, the way the way they deliver the meat, it's always fresh, and also like it's just in general the quality. Like you can tell the difference between meat that was raised from just mass feeding like corn products to them, and the meat that was raised with grass. You know, the meat is more tender, the color is different. You know, it's not as tough. You know, so and you could just. And that's the thing about, you know, that grass-fed meat is it gives a peace of mind to people too. That whatever they're paying for, they're getting really good quality as well.
Do you think the audience, really, like your customers, really want that, or has it like whose idea was it? Did it come from this is what they want, and so now I'm gonna
I think it's more. It came from us because when we first.